to the RunRX podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running. Welcome back to Tough Love Tuesday. I'm your host, Coach Caroline, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about our membership. I go into the membership a little bit. Valerie and I talk about it on our podcast, but we're about halfway through the month and we're getting prepared to open back up the membership in January. And I know a lot of people have been looking into trying to join either before then, and sometimes we have spots that open up. So periodically we do kind of through our email system, we'll open up for a couple of days to let people in. But if you haven't been able to do that and you're kind of just waiting for the new year because I'm just going to start at the new year, it's an easier time to do it. I want to talk to you about what to expect in the membership. So the membership is 12 weeks. And the reason we do it for 12 weeks is because we know that you have to unlearn a pattern of movement, and then relearn a pattern of movement. And one of my favorite books is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he studied basically how people form habits, how do they take on good habits, and how do they get rid of old habits? Like, how do you stop smoking? How do you lose weight? How do you get into an exercise habit? How do you stop biting your nails? How do you start waking up early? These are all things that we want as habits, and in our own life, we consider them good habits or bad habits, right? Maybe you want to get rid of a habit of drinking. So habits are basically a pattern, okay? It's a ritual that you do. And so in RunRX, what we do right off the bat is we kind of take away the ritual. We ask you to not run for the first 3 weeks. And that's usually really hard, but you're learning a new movement. So if we want you to learn pose, fall, pull and the elements of the gait cycle, then you going out and running miles when you should be working on pose, fall, pull is going to defeat the purpose. I'm going to give you a great example. Let's say I want to get rid of sugar and flour, white sugar and white flour from my diet. I've read a book and I've decided that that's causing inflammation and all the other things that they've talked about over the years. And I say, okay, this is going to be the year. 2022 is the year I am going to get rid of white sugar, white flour. And if I say, well, okay, great, I'm going to eliminate it from my diet. I'm going to get rid of it in my house, right? And I'm not going to eat it. But when I'm out of my house, I'm going to go ahead and put white sugar in my Starbucks, or I'm going to go ahead and order white flour at a restaurant. And my logic is, well, I'm not doing it at home, right? I can't stop it altogether, right? For 3 weeks, I can't do that. Really? Let's take that with smoking. Well, I'm only going to smoke when I'm at work, okay? But you work 40 hours a week, okay? Do you see how when you're trying to reset a pattern, when you're trying to reset a habit, saying, well, I'll do the drills and I'll do what she wants me to do for those 30 minutes in the morning, but then after work, I'm still going to go out and run 3 miles. Okay. And in your logic, you're saying it's just 3 miles, right? It's just 30 minutes or whatever it is, right? But those 3 miles consist of approximately 1,500 steps each. So let's do the math. That's 4,500 gait cycles that you are digging in a pattern for that time that you're running. And what we're trying to do is get you out of that pattern. So let's give you another visual. I love metaphors. So think of a dirt road, and you have this big divot where you've been driving in this dirt road. And now it's rained and it's gotten cold. So now that divot, you can't really drive in it anymore because it's icy. You have to get up on the side of the road. You got to get up on the side of the divot now. You have to create a new road outside of that divot that you were riding in. Okay. Well, if you've ever done this, when you get up on the side, you can get up there for a period of time, but if you don't pay attention, if you don't focus, you will fall back into the divot. That's habits. That's running patterns. Okay. So we need you for those first 3 weeks to stay out of the divot. Okay. We want you out of that pattern. And then we bring you back into it very slowly. That's why it's 12 weeks, guys, because we know that first we got to get through that kind of that sugar pain, right, of giving up something for 3 weeks. Then we want to relearn the new, get into the new movement, start building up that pattern and start building up the strength of being able to hold the fall. And then hopefully you start to see a little progress. You're staying up on the side of that divot. And then we can work on that mindset shift, because the final piece of the puzzle that's going to keep you on the right path and keep you from falling back into that divot is changing your mindset. And that can't be done in a week. Seriously, if it could be done in 5 days, or take a pill or get a shoe, you don't think we'd be selling that? You don't think I'd be an affiliate for the new Nike shoe if I really thought that's all you needed? I can make a lot more money being an affiliate. I can tell you that right now. So the point is that you are relearning a pattern. You are changing a habit. And the best way to change a habit, to do something different, is to get rid of the old things you were doing, start with the new pattern, look for possibly a new trigger, a new reason why, and then you basically have to stay focused with small daily changes, okay? And that's what we focus on. But the whole point of it is we're here for you. Coach Valerie will look at your gait cycle. You'll check in weekly. You'll have daily exercises. I'm in the group for mindset. We do these podcasts based on questions that come through the group. We go live twice a week. We have at least once a week Zooms. We really only take off about one weekend a month, and sometimes that's even limited depending on what we're doing, because our overarching goal is to impact as many runners as possible. And in order to do that, we still kind of talk and touch and communicate with you guys on a very close level. That's why the membership had to be closed, because in order for us to be able to work with you as an individual, we can't really have 1,000 people in the membership. Now, you're saying, oh, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But Caroline, you have 200 some people in the membership? Of those 200 people, 100 of them have been with, actually maybe 50 of them have been with us for the whole 3 years. Then there's another 50 that have already come through over the last year. Then there's another 50 that don't even do anything. They don't come onto the Zoom. They don't send in their check-ins. They're just quietly being a voyeur, watching the information and doing the work. Wait, I love those people. I'm those people, right? I don't go onto Zooms. I don't make contact with my coach. I just do the work. And then, of course, I love that they've helped me progress. There's usually about 10%. So there's maybe 10 to 20 people that are really engaged in the group, that really get on the Zoom, that really send in your check-ins. So it's not a ton of time, and it does take a lot of focus for us to look and look at what you're doing and give you feedback. But because that's about 20 people, 10 to 20 people, that's why we've closed the membership. And that's why we only open it certain times, certain periods of time, so we can kind of keep that very hands-on approach that a lot of people want. I don't anticipate going to the point where we're thousands of people. We could, if we had more coaches like Valerie and I that could help people in a more one-on-one way, because we understand, we do get it. Valerie went through years of on her own training before she worked with Romanoff. And then it took years of working with Romanoff before she finally clicked and let go. I'm the same way. I didn't start running till later in life. And it's taken me years of working with Coach Valerie to get my mindset to understand what she means, and then to be able to see it, to finally be able to see the late pull or the non-bending or the pushing or whatever's happening with the gait cycle. So as we grow, I would love to bring on new coaches, but the coaches really have to kind of eat, breathe, and sleep the RunRX method. So this isn't to say, you should come into a coach, because we don't really have a coaching program. But the point is, if you want to come in, We really hope you come in January. We will hopefully take in quite a few runners at that time. We're looking to probably do some live Zoom calls with people, giving them an opportunity to actually work with Valerie. But again, we can't do more than about 10 to 20 people on a Zoom. So look, if you're on our email list, if you should be on our email list, because hopefully you know about our podcast that way, but get on our email list, make sure you're getting notice of it. You can do those live calls with her. It's going to be a first come, first serve sign up to get into those calls. And then I really hope you'll join us in January when we open back up again, and you'll help us start your 2022 running pain-free. Have a great week, guys. Thank you for joining us on the RunRX podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.